Hi, everyone. Today I am with Mark H. Rapaport, from director of HIPPO, but also the director of the movie Godhead, which had its premiere at Fantasia this year for the 13th anniversary of Fantasia. So thank you for coming.
Thanks so much for having me, Jake.
So I would like to kick off my interview by asking, HIPPO and Godhead are so much different tones, yet they have kind of similar relationship between the characters. So what was your thought process into building their character arc?
It's a really great observation. HIPPO, obviously, as well. If you've seen it or you Google it, it's also shot in black and white. And, that's sort of the first obvious, relation to it. I like to make moody worlds with shadows and, sort of odd characters. And I always love how black and white frames their faces. Color sometimes to me can be a little distracting. Not to say I'll never make a movie in color, but just for these stories, which were almost really felt like stories, like in a storybook, almost like fable-y way. It just felt like the right medium. And then, Godhead has these themes of God, that it's more obvious in Godhead, in the title, and in the fact that it's about a priest and two alleged prophets. But HIPPO also has this God complex for the character HIPPO. And I was saying, to some other people, I didn't necessarily even realize the similarities going into Godhead. But as we made the movie and I finished the script and finished the movie, it was like, oh no, I'm clearly obsessed with the idea of God and what is God and what is the power of God and can we elevate ourselves to that? Should we be in reverence of that? If we're in reverence of that, is that always a good thing? Maybe sometimes what we think is God is telling us to do something bad. So sort of all these questions about truth, but also more, as they pertain to morality, I find that they can be very ambiguous. And growing up in a pretty religious community, these were always top of mind. And so, they definitely, you're definitely right to point out those similarities. And in a way, it's like two movies, and then maybe we need a third in the trilogy of black and white movies about God. I don't know. I didn't think that until we premiered, but I'm like, they really do go together.
I really like the black and white because there's so much shade. There's so much, I don't know how to say it, but you can add so much character only with monochrome tone. And you can have metallic black and white. You can have deeper black and brighter white. And I just like the way that you used it, because in the location, I can see, I don't know if it's the correct name in English, but it's called Weeping Soul, I believe, the tree.
The tree, like a weeping willow, yeah.
Yeah.
These were called Spanish moss.
Oh,
right, Julian?
okay.
Spanish moss. I'm asking our producer, yeah. So in Charleston, that's how that's what they call it.
So where have you shot the film? Because the location is gorgeous.
Thank you. I love those trees. I love the weeping willows. I love these trees that are crying. We shot the film in Charleston, South Carolina, where our producer is based. And just sort of where the project came together. I would say we were open to other states, even other countries. We were looking for a time in Ireland or England and just didn't have the network over there to do it. And we really wanted to get this made. And so it connected with Julian. And like I said, they're based in Charleston and they have so many great locations and churches and of course trees and this creepy Southern Gothic vibe. And so once we knew we were filming there, we just leaned into it. It's this is it. This is our location. Let's embrace this. And it was the best version of the movie possible. I could not have imagined it in England or Ireland. It would have been too, wouldn't have worked as well.
And I also noticed in HIPPO and Godhead that you don't fall into relentless violence. So my thought about it was, did you want to make the violence more psychological, more into what happens between the character?
Yeah, it's a great observation. I think violence is a tool for acting one's will. And so I like to use violence when it's very, very intentional. Not just like an idea or wanting violence or wanting to kill just to kill. I like it when a character is brought to their wit's end and violence is the only option, good or bad. And so that's why, there's an undertone of violence in the whole movie, but I try to restrain it just because of my philosophies about violence and characters. And, I like to see if people can exhaust everything else before they turn to violence. It's kind of it's like a fun maze. But yeah, I don't know, maybe one day I'll make an even like an aggressively violent movie, but right now that's how I see it. No, but it's an interesting point because we're at Fantasia and a lot of movies I think are like way more violent. I'm not saying that it's not deserved violence. I think there's many movies here that are, but for some reason I may be a little scared of violence, to be honest. I'm like, because I don't like, in my daily life, I don't like arguing, and I like save that. Like, I don't like to much like these characters, like, I don't like to, like the good characters, not the evil characters. I try to like restrain my will until it's absolutely necessary. And so that's just the part I relate to. Violence as a tool, as a last resort.
And I assure you, you don't need to put more violence. Your movies are great the way they are.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
And my next question was about the how can I say? Do you have like a studio, or do you build some elements on set for the environment, or it's all there? We can see a bunch of nature. Yeah. So is that the landscape how it is, or you added some things to it?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we do have some scenes in nature and outside of the church as well. So it was all, everything was shot on location. We did add in some fog in the outdoor stuff. Like we had these guys come in, awesome guys. They brought a fog machine that like they called it the Circle of Death because it's literally like a tube, like hundreds of meters, and it goes all the way around the church. And I was like, these were some of our low budget tricks. Like we didn't have to pay for that. These guys were just awesome and they brought it. So it's like, you need favors on these low budget films. And so that was really cool. So we did add the fog, and then we added, without giving it away, there's a sequence in the last third of the movie outdoors and at like a temple-like thing. Mm-hmm. And we added, with our greens department and production designer, added the leaves and the flowers and everything. So like, that was a monumental effort to get the temple right. That was not naturally there. Okay. The benches and stuff were there, but we totally dressed it. Lydia, Kylie, the whole team, Ryan from the greens department. It took a village and just, they made some beautiful sets for us to shoot at, which was a dream.
What was the black powder made of? Because it kind of reminded me coffee. Not gonna lie.
Oh, the black mound.
Yeah.
I think it was just like, like a fish tank, the gravel.
Yeah. Oh, really?
It was like fish. You order like this big bag for your fish tank. Yeah.
Oh, really?
It just had that right quality, like ash. I wanted it to look like ash. Again, without giving spoilers. Which obviously at this point you can read the spoilers, so I'm not too worried. But yeah, it's just funny how that is. You just order these things on Amazon sometimes, and that's all you need.
And you mentioned your love for David Lynch. So would you walk me through your inspiration for Godhead?
So yeah, like I love Lynch. Like we were mentioning at the Q&A, he passed away on set. He's like, I don't just love his films. I love his brain. I love how he thinks, lets himself, he does the meditation thing, but I don't necessarily do that. I might want to start doing that, but sort of just letting his brain go and seeing what comes up. And I do that sometimes. sometimes for certain things if I'm stuck. But I'm not like him where I just lock myself in a room all day and that's my movie, whatever comes to me. But so he's one. And then I really love Yorgos. I really loved Killing of a Sacred Deer. That was one of those movies that, like, before I ever directed anything, when I went to Killing of a Sacred Deer and I was like, oh, like, he was like allowed to do this weird movie and it's playing at a cinema where people are buying tickets. Like, I guess I can be a little strange if he's, you know, he's so famous at it.
Yeah.
So that was hugely inspiring. Raw came out around the same time, Julie Decarnu. That I saw also twice in theaters. And then, yeah, sort of a throwback to the old masters as well. Like Hitchcock, which is a cliche at this point, but like I love the stylistic setup of some of these black and white films. Like, it's just so simply and beautifully done. And so, but his movies obviously still, most of them still hold up and they're incredible. And obviously like The Twilight Zone, just like these eerie black and white, movies. So it's like my inspirations are a bit of a stew, and then I put my heart into it and just like see where we go. Put my feelings.
And I think we all need a little bit of cliches in black and white films. And
well, you play with tropes. Yeah. Like, you have to be aware of the tropes. Yeah.
Yeah. So if we talk about the baby demon, spoilers ahead. So how's it made of? Is it made of silicone? And
yeah,
how did you picture his face?
Yeah, so that was made of silicone from a prop house down south, I believe. It was one of our most expensive like props because like we dressed it up and animated it a little. But, this prop house, they make these incredible demon babies. And, I wanted to make sure we got the one with like the skin, felt like real skin. Just like super creepy. I wanted that to just like represent like, just like, in this case, it was a result of a very evil act. So yeah, like, I want it to be very intentional. Like, I don't just want the baby to suffer and be a demon baby, like a weird freak baby, just cause. Like, it was almost like the mother in this case deserved it. So the baby in a way is a punishment for that.
And so what's next after Godhead? Do you have anything in mind?
Yeah, so I'm working on a few things. I have a script that's done, and it actually was our first script that I ever wrote to be like a feature called Cornucopia, which is like about a cult that I have my same producer Julian on, and a lot of the same creative team. We're looking to we have a great cast, and we're looking to find money for it. And then it's about like a cult leader, and so it actually is very much also like but it's in that vein, but it's a little more, that one probably would be in color, as it's a little more like fantastical in relation to outer space. And like, there's a lot of color themes that like I would be remiss to exclude. And then, I have a zero budget thing that I'm just shooting around the subway, like just me holding a camera with Kimball, kind of like early Sean Baker style. And like the early mumblecore, but not mumblecore like theme, but just the way that they just shot, went out and did it, or, just those early movies of the early 2000s. So that one's called Blue Dragon. And that's more of a sci-fi.
Okay.
And so we'll see. So, and then I'm just developing a bunch of new stuff as well. And it's just, I like to always have the like bigger thing that like, you cross your fingers, people want to make it. But then the smaller thing that it's like, even if no one wants to give you $1 million, like you can go make your small movie.
And do we have a release date for Godhead?
We do not.
We do not.
We are out here in Fantasia showing to people for the first time ever. And yeah, we're hoping to find a distributor to partner with and bring this movie out to the masses. And, I think it's a fun time for indie horror.
I agree.
It should have been feeling that way for 20 years, but I think now it's like finally showing its true potential. And I think there's such a range of horror, thriller, and, you know, everything, you know, people talk about Obsession, obviously, but there was Skinamarink here a few years ago, and that was a wild movie. That did great.
Iron Lung also did very great. I don't know if you've seen that one.
Iron Lung, yeah. Markiplier, yeah. I mean, there's such a range. And I just look up to all these other filmmakers, just again making their true version of whatever their horror is. Jane Schoenbrunn obviously has done it multiple times now.
Yeah.
But started with that whole theme of like, I'm going to make what I love. I'm going to put my internal turmoil out, and it's working. And so I'm just so blessed to be at a festival with so many talented people like that. And just hoping our film finds its audience. We I can't say the name of the festival because it's not public yet, but there is a festival in Australia that we love that wants to play us later in the fall. So
I think I know which one it is, but I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
So fingers crossed. And just keep going to festivals and just keep getting the movie out and see what happens.
Well, let's hope for the best.
Thank you. It's just it's a blessing every time we could show it.
So if you want to stay tuned about Godhead, you should definitely watch it on social media or stay tuned on my channel to get more information about it, because when it will come out, I will promote it and let you know.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Godhead.movie on Instagram. You can't miss it. It's the freaky poster, 2 red heads.
There you have it. So go follow, go stay tuned, and don't just sit there and watch this interview. The interview is over. Just go on Instagram, do your thing, follow the film, and we'll talk after you watch.
Find your next obsession, and I don't mean that as obsession. I mean your next crazy horror. You might find it here at Fantasia.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Thanks.